Hello. As you can see, my room's going through a bit of a renovation at this moment. I just bought a brand new desk, adjusted my camera, moved some shelves around in my room, as you can see. So I'm trying out a different thing here. So hopefully, if you like it, we'll see how it goes, and we'll kind of go forward there. But enough about my room. I want to talk about Sakamoto Days, which is officially wrapped up of the season of Winter 2025 under TMS Entertainment Studios, and kind of give my thoughts and feelings out of the way as to why Sakamoto Days is the anime that I've decided to watch. So, Sakamoto Days, in a nutshell, is one of those shows that was like one of the biggest, highly anticipated shows to come out of the Winter 2025 season. And at one point, it was at the number one spot as like the most highly anticipated. Of course, being dethroned by Soul Leveling season two for highly anticipated anime to watch. And if you know TMS Entertainment Studios, what they're known for, they got a pretty big discography under the belt of what they are known for at this point. And it's no surprise that if I were to go through every single anime, we would be here all freaking day. But let's just say, in a nutshell, there's a lot of shows that came out from this studio that everyone has heard about at one point or another. So, of course, given that Sakamoto Days was the next big thing, the next new anime from them, I went to this anime with not really high expectations, but out of curiosity as to like if this show's going to really blow me away or let me feel really good or really crazy about it, right? And I will say, after watching 11 episodes of the show, I feel like the show is good. I think it's pretty good. The fighting in the show is really nice. It's really great. The choreography is amazing. The animation is really nice, crisp, and clean, as typical of TMS Entertainment Studios as of late. The voice acting for the show is stellar. It's amazing. You have a wide cast of characters and talented voice actors and actresses that are taking over the mantle. And what's kind of interesting is that when Sakamoto Days was more or less airing throughout this season of Winter 2025, a lot of people were easily pointing that Sakamoto Days was reminiscent of Spy Family, which, if you don't remember, Spy Family, when it came out a couple years ago, was a huge phenomenon that took over the mainstream anime as a result. And it was no surprise that because of how great big Spy Family was, it would spawn sequel after sequel, and it did drop a Spy Family Code White movie, which came out not that long ago, which I thought was pretty good. So, to kind of sum up Sakamoto Days in a nutshell, it's kind of like what would happen if Spy Family were now in a alternate universe, where instead of a family dynamic involved, it now involves like retired hitmen and other hitmen trying to take out the retired hitmen, and they're essentially recruiting other people under their cause, but for a good reason and such. But enough of that. Point is that Sakamoto Days has a really cool premise that's really fun, that's gonna get everyone engaged to it, and I think it's going to be like a show that, for many that want to watch the show, I think this is a pretty good starting anime show. Now, I do think that the show lacks a little bit of oomph, or a little bit of like, oh my god, something exciting actually happening in the show. Because, believe it or not, as you can tell already, there is a part two of season one that's already coming out later on this year. And I'm just gonna cut right to the chase. I hate this trend where they basically take an anime series, and instead of doing season one and season two of a show, they do season one part one, season one part two, season one part three, season one part four. Like, I hate that trend that is going on right now, and this trend sadly has been going on since 2020, if I remember correctly, and it's kind of annoying. Like, if that's the case, just call it a second season and go from there. But either way, I think we can tell though that the second half of Sakamoto Days is looking like it's going to be the strongest that the season has to offer, which is why, like, going into to Sakamoto Days, the first half of season one, it's definitely leaving a lot to be desired. Because while the show definitely had some really good heartfelt moments where we got to know a little bit of our main character Sakamoto, getting to know Shin's background, getting to know Lou's background, and possibly my favorite Hesuke's background. Um, there were moments where it's like, hey, we're kind of like roadblocking here. We're kind of going off the beam path of the show, and it's not really getting us anywhere at all. And While it was definitely really fun throughout these 11 episodes, the final episode definitely left like a massive big cliffhanger and a bit of a foreshadowing of what's to come, which I don't want to spoil it, but it's definitely setting itself up for like the biggest thing that's going to happen Sakamoto Days that is going to be worth my attention. And I'm hoping that the second half does get pick up because as of right now, I feel like the first season is just playing it too safe. Because the thing about Sakamoto Days and Spy Family is that Spy Family, they came out the gate swinging with a really cool concept, a really interesting premise, and they were able to balance it out super, super well all the way through to the end. And yes, you can argue that the sequels and the second season would sadly kind of falter and get stale and really old. I think that Spy Family still kept what it was known for really, really good. In the case of Sakamoto Days, it's sadly coming out the gate with like the training wheels, and it's not willing to like set itself loose yet. So I'm hoping that the second half of Sakamoto Days is stronger than the first half because again, right now, this is just playing it way too safe. It's still a great show. It's still fun. There were moments where the comedic moments hit. There were moments where again the serious moments and the fighting moments were really good and amazing. But I feel like unless Sakamoto Days can really push the ante and make it like a really fun and iconic anime to come out of 2025, I don't think the show's going to be on anyone's best anime list of the year. So, again, I'm not disappointed with the show. I think that it is they are playing it smart at the end of the day of keeping it safe, keeping a low profile, and putting the training wheels on for now. So I I have to put my reservations on this show on hold, in my opinion, with how I feel, which is why I feel like this show is a strong 6 to like 7. I think it's fine. It's definitely has a lot of potential to be really good, and who knows? Maybe if the second half of this season of Sakamoto Days actually is better than the first half, there is a 50% chance that I might come back to the original score Sakamoto Days that I have here right now, and potentially change up the score in the future anime review episode. But until then, I think the show's just playing it way too safe, and there are elements of it that I love, but there are elements of it that you can tell it's clearly holding itself back. It's not giving us the pizzazz that other shows that are out right now in the Winter 2025 season rollout is doing right now. And yeah, I think that's about it. Sakamoto Days, pretty good show, and I'll see you all the next one. Later.